Are you a narcissistic writer? Because if you're not, maybe you should be.
What?
Now, narcissism is marked by a lot of negative traits, but they can also be flipped into good traits for writers. Most narcissists have an inflated sense of themselves, like, I am the best ever, and they have an excessive need for admiration, like, you think I'm the best ever too, right? And they also believe what they offer is superior to everybody else's. Now, I am not saying that narcissists necessarily make good people, but I am saying that you can take a lesson from that as a writer, because as a writer, you're plagued by self-doubt, right? I am always feeling self-doubt, like this book is going to be the worst one I ever wrote, or there's no way anybody's going to read it, or I'm just waiting for the really bad reviews to come. Because part of what makes us good writers is that we can really tap into those inner fears and doubts and anxieties, because we are full of them. However, to make a living in an industry where people are always criticizing what you do, you need to develop a tough skin. You need to be a tiny bit narcissistic. You need to believe that what you are writing is worth getting out into the world. When I first started in the industry, I started by writing romance because at the time, my life was not very happy, and I wanted to write books that not only reaffirmed my own belief in love and happiness, but did that for other people too. I was really bad at it. If you've been following this channel for even 5 seconds, then you know that I wrote 10 books in 8 years that were rejected, not just in the US, but all over the world. Because I didn't quite have the grasp of how to write a book. But that's okay, because that can be learned. You have to know that even if you don't know how to write well yet, you can learn. Listen. You might be born with a natural storytelling ability, but that does not mean that you have a natural ability to structure a story, or that you naturally know how to show instead of tell, or that you naturally know when to do that, or you naturally know how to develop a deep character. I'd say 99.9% of us that are authors don't know that when we start out. I read constantly. I knew what a good book was. I knew what grabbed me. I knew how to tell a story, like at a party or to a friend, but putting it on paper, that was a whole other thing. And at first, I was really discouraged when I kept getting rejected because I had no idea what the editors were talking about. Your characters don't come alive on the page. I'm not feeling like they're three-dimensional. I'm not invested in the story. I'm not feeling that emotional pull. Those were the rejections that I would get. And I'm like, I have no idea what that means or how to fix it. It got so dark and so depressing that I just gave up. But then I decided that I wasn't going to quit, that I wasn't going to let it keep me down, and that I could learn these things that I was struggling with. And you know what? I did. And it worked out pretty well. Believe that you can learn the skills that you need in order to tell that story the best way possible. Because there are channels like this one and tons of free resources. I have a lot of them listed in the description here. Because then you've got half the battle done. But then there's all the things that get in the way of finishing the book. Maybe, like me, you feel a lot of self-doubt, a lot of worry about whether you have what it takes. The other thing you might be dealing with is people in your life who are saying, you can't do this. You don't have what it takes. You're not supposed to be a writer. And here's where the narcissistic kind of part comes in. You need to surround yourself with things that remind you you can do it. I used to have all these little motivational quotes all around my office, on my computer, on my monitor, on my wall, and that would remind me, I can climb this mountain, I can do this, I absolutely have what it takes. Because when you have 10 books that are rejected by every publisher in the free world, you have a box of letters saying you suck at what you're doing. And so I needed to create a system that would keep myself going, even when it seemed like the whole world thought I couldn't do it. If the people closest to you don't support you, and I know how that feels, then go find some other people that do. Join a writing group, join a community like ours, join a place that says, hey, you can totally do this. I believe in you. Because we all need that person in our corner. Sometimes that person is just you. And the last thing I want you to do comes back to that narcissists believing they are superior to all others. There are 20 million books on Amazon, and some of them are really poorly written. Some of them are filled with typos, and the formatting's all over the place, and the story doesn't make any sense because a lot of people publish before they're ready. I'm not saying that's your book. I'm saying that there are others out there that you can look at and say, I can do better than that. And then read books that are so good you think you can't ever match up to that. Because you know what that does? That gives you fuel to try harder, to learn more, to become the writer that you were meant to be. Don't be the bad kind of narcissist. Nobody likes those people, and they're actually very destructive to others. But I want you to be a narcissist to yourself about your own career. Believe you can do it. Believe you have the tools available to learn what you need to learn. Surround yourself with motivation and look at what you have for skills compared to what's out there. And if you need an immediate pat on the back, come to one of our live streams. There we talk writing, we talk about the challenges of it, and we build a community together. And if you want to start right now on writing that book that is going to knock somebody's socks off, start with this video right here because it goes into the basics of plot and helps you build a structure that makes people turn the pages. And come back and tell me about how you wrote your book and how you got to the end, because I'm going to celebrate right there with you.